welcome to the first in Rhyl Miniature Railway's series of YouTube videos. My name's Simon Townsend and this is
Justin Bell.
And between us we're going to talk about our locomotive Prince Edward of Wales, which we're stood here behind. And it's in steam, as you can see, because at Rhyl Miniature Railway at the moment all our steam locomotives are more or less in working order. This is the first of our series of YouTube videos. We're going to do different types of video. We'll do some interview videos. We'll definitely do the Trust Chairman Les Hughes. We might do another chap called Austin Moss, and we'll do other types of video including crabbing and things you can do here. So hold on over the next 18 months and we hope that you'll see a lot more from the Rhyl Miniature Railway YouTube video series. Okay, so here's Prince Edward of Wales, and why is it significant to us, Justin?
Because this is the locomotive that opened the railway in May 1911.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have it. It's our original locomotive. The railway dates from 1911 and the locomotive dates from 1911 as well. So, what are its origins then? The two people that are most relevant to its construction are Henry Greenley and Bassett Lowke. And Henry Greenley was a brilliant locomotive designer. He was wonderful on a drawing board, and this locomotive came specifically from his drawing board, and it was the first 15-inch gauge one that he designed. And you can see from the big wheels that it was intended to run at speed. And the first time they built one of these in 1905, the engine called Little Giant, they took it to Eaton Hall for speed trials. And what speed do you think it got up to, Justin?
About 25 miles an hour they got it to.
Yeah, well, the write-ups say they got almost to 30. Amazing. On the straight track of the Eaton Hall Railway where they'd taken it to try it out.
Hope they fitted seatbelts.
Yes. Well, at the end of the video, we're going to try this out to see how fast ours will go. So hold on for that. Okay, so what year was this built in?
1909.
That's right. And the railway that it was built for was built at the White City exhibition in London. And whilst it was there, it had the name Red Dragon. How do we know, Justin, that the locomotive Red Dragon was renamed Prince Edward of Wales when it came here?
Because Bassett Lowke had a very nice habit to confuse historians of turning nameplates over and engraving the other side and just renumbering and renaming them.
That's quite right. So there's a surviving nameplate for this engine. These are replica nameplates, but there's a surviving original one which has Prince Edward of Wales on one side and Red Dragon on the other side. So it first arrived here in May 1911. That 1911 season, they had a wonderful time. This was the station back then. We'll put that up on the screen. And on the May Bank holiday, on the August Bank holiday 1911, they had a special day and they managed to carry 5,000 passengers in a day, which is pretty wonderful for an engine as small as this and the small amounts of equipment they had at that time. And then in the next year, the railway was sold to Rhyl Amusements Limited, and Rhyl Amusements bought a second similar engine called George V. So here's Prince Edward of Wales and George V together. Okay. When did Prince Edward of Wales leave Rhyl Miniature Railway, Justin?
1920.
And what happened to it then?
He went to Dreamland to run the railway there because Billy wasn't ready yet.
That's right. So in 1920, Dreamland at Margate, the owner John Henry Isles wanted to put in a miniature railway, and he had Henry Greenley along to design one for him, and this engine went there to be the star of the show when that railway opened. And it stayed there and was used occasionally up until 1968 when a great pal of mine bought it, Robin Buttrell. Robin, alas, died in 2007, but he was a great enthusiast of locomotives like this. and he and John Milner and others had bought in 1964 the remains of George V, which is a similar engine, and then in 1968 they bought Prince Edward of Wales. What happened to this after that was that Robin Buttrell was full of enthusiasm but had very little money. So in the end, they ended up making George V the first working engine, and that entered service in 1978. But they had to use a lot of parts out of Prince Edward of Wales, so they used the best parts of both locomotives. In 1983, there was an enthusiast event that I went to and a lot of other people went to, and it became clear at that event that there were some parts remaining because they'd made one good locomotive out of two poor ones. So there were some components left over, and those components got rebuilt into what is now the engine that we're seeing here. Okay, so it first entered service in 1991 at Lakeside Miniature Railway. Who finished it off?
Austin Moss finished it.
Austin Moss finished it off. It was him that made it go, and he later bought it, and he, fortunately for us, brought it here. How many times has it been here under Austin's ownership? 2 or 3 times?
About 3 times, yeah.
And he took it to other places. Cleethorpes Coast Light Railway, it went to quite a number of times. Kirklees Light Railway, Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway, Ravenpass and Eskdale Railway. It went on quite a wide tour. I thought it would be a good idea if Austin sold it to us, but Austin didn't think so, and it took quite a long time to persuade him to sell it to us, which we did in 2014. So it arrived here in 2014, and since then, to get it into service, which we did about 2017, we had to do quite a number of things to it, because we wanted an authentic engine that represented what we started out with in 1911. So we had this boiler made for us new by Jim and Helen Shackle, the perfectionists in Whitney. That's why the best parts of engineering on this engine now made by Jim and Helen. We had the wheels retired. Where did the tender come from, Justin?
I'd been building the tender after having borrowed Red Dragon. I really fell in love with them, and I started to build my own, and so I had the bogey tender, and we put that to this loco to give it the right style tender.
So the tender is completely new, all except for the axle boxes, is that right?
Yeah.
And how did you get the dimensions of it?
Well, some came from the Little Giant book, some came from the drawings of Entente Cordiale, and I also went and visited Little Giant in the National Rail Museum. Very nicely let Mr. Cools let me crawl round it, on site and measure everything.
That's very good. So do you think that what we've ended up with is not too bad a representation of our original engine?
I would say we're about 99% of the way there.
Yeah, it's all right if you stand well away from it. Did use some parts from the pound shop, some detailed parts when we finished it off, held together with metric nuts and bolts. So which parts are original then? Which parts are original, Justin?
The wheels, motion, cylinders, and the chimney are the original parts.
Right. So basically everything cast is original. The boiler is completely new. The tender is completely new. Those came from 1991 Red Dragon. That's new, and we put it together and made it work like this. Okay, so all right, that's a good introduction to our engine, Prince Edward of Wales. Now let's see whether we can make it go.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your ride behind Prince Edward of Wales today. It's the first of our loco profile series, with Cagney following soon, and then in the new year we'll hopefully start doing Joan and the other locos. If you look out on our calendar, you'll see the days we use our little locos of Prince Edward of Wales and Cagney, and then we'll see you all next time. Goodbye everybody.